Bien, muchísimas gracias a los panelistas. Creo que hemos tenido unas piezas de teoría impresionantes esta mañana. Y pues, como ellos lo han propuesto, ahora vamos a preguntas, debates alrededor de esta relación entre Derecho y Política. Costas, dos, tres.
I'm here to say a couple of things. In response mainly to the extremely interesting talk by Diego. And I must start by saying that I totally agree with his analysis of the relationship between law and politics. I want to add 2 or 3 points. The first is this. Critical legal scholars like myself, particularly people who commit ourselves to the left also, do live a certain schizophrenia. We do live a certain life of contradiction and paradox. And this is the reason why. We do accept with Roberto, we do accept with Diego and with Juan Felipe that we have to use the legal system in order to protect people, in order to promote certain types of rights, particularly social and economic rights. But at the same time, we understand that every victory that we achieve is also a further part of the legitimacy of a legal system that we feel at this particular point in time in our own countries does not promote a sense of social justice. So we live in a certain schizophrenia because we work with the law and with rights, economic and social rights, but at the same time we understand that we have to take a distance from the legal system. That is the first point that I was making. This is a difficult, existentially difficult position to be in, but we cannot avoid it. The second point is in relation to the whole question of transplantation of ideas, both orthodox and heterodox ideas here into Latin America, but I think wider in the developing world. Throughout my many talks yesterday, I made this point again and again and again. We are at a situation where Europe is dying, I'll say it again. The 2 main social models, the liberal and the social democratic model of Europe, with its legal expressions and manifestations, are moving towards their end, and no new social model with its legal manifestation is emerging out of Europe. We have run out of ideas, both on the orthodox and on the critical side. And when we look around about new political forms, about new political manifestations, institutional and in terms of social movements, there is just one place, and this is Latin America. There are 2 options opening in front of the world after the end of the New World Order and the victory of neoliberalism. One is authoritarian capitalism of the Chinese, Russian, and perhaps Colombian model, and the second is socialism. And the only place in which new forms of socialism are being created is precisely Latin America. And there are many forms. It is the radical trade unionism of Lula. It is the peasant and indigenous movements of Morales. It is the radical and military, perhaps, nationalism of Chavez. It is left environmentalism with Correa. It is political theology and radical theology with Lugo. Political philosophy, my friends, indeed philosophy dealing with politics, can do one thing. Can understand political forms that have been created, explain those forms, and perhaps try to promote them. Now, the only place, again, let me repeat, in which new political forms are being created, particularly on the radical social side, is Latin America. How does legal theory, how does jurisprudence of Latin America respond to that? With exceptions like Diego, like Oscar, like Roberto, I must say, I feel very disappointed because I was expecting from you guys to the extent that Latin America is creating new political forms to come up with new ideas about law and legal practice and legal strategies. And I must say that I'm a little disappointed. And I think that this is the future, I mean the project for the future, not just of Latin American law and legal theory and political philosophy, but of the whole world. Because you are creating the new political forms, we are not. And if you are spending your time, or wasting your time, as I've seen and heard over the last days, not here, elsewhere, just writing footnotes to Alexei and Habermas and Rhodes, I think you are wasting an absolutely brilliant opportunity. And of course you are writing footnotes to people like me. Because every form of resistance or every form of social movement, every form of legal and political strategy has always to be situated within the place and space and the time you are. And it is within your space and place and time that you have to develop your theories. Of course in debate and discussion and dialogue with Europeans, either orthodox or heterodox. But you have to do it here. You have started doing it, and let me repeat again, we in Europe, we have run out of ideas. We expect from you guys who are creating the new political forms to come up also with the new legal ideas, with new legal strategies, with new political strategies. Final word. As I said yesterday, I believe that law is about two things. It's about languages and about bodies. It's about material, stuff, and about desire. And that covers all types of jurisprudence and all schools of thought. Everyone, whether critical or uncritical, falls under that description we are giving you. Languages and bodies. Material, stuff, identity stuff. Except that there is also evolution. Except that there is also the right to the event. Except that there are events are happening. The world does change. We don't know when it will happen. We cannot necessarily plan it. Prophetically, and through the monstrum of the monsters, we can perhaps dream about it, imagine it. But it is happening. It has happened again and again and again. In the last 30 years, those people who are telling us the end of history has come, forgetting that that end of history was precisely a major series of revolutions carried out by people in the streets of Budapest and Prague and elsewhere, and it will happen again. So, stick with languages, stick with bodies, develop legal strategies to protect and promote desire and material need, but also believe that radical change will come. And hopefully, next time we'll be together, we will be also discussing the Colombian radical change and how Colombia joined the Latin American